Chapter 2. Zaza Lane. The city was high off Bud's name. It had been 3 days since the grow hole lit up with smoke, blood, and flame. 3 days since Bud's smoke reminded Highgardens who really ran the roots. The south side buzzed with respect. Smoke circles mentioned his name like gospel. Every other hood trap was selling knockoff one-hitter bags, some fake, some laced, all trying to ride the fire. But even as Bud's name burned hot, one corner of the city stayed cold. Unbothered, untouched, unfazed, Zaza Lane, the north side's neon kingdom of synthetic strains and overpriced illusions. Chrome dispensaries selling cartoon weed to kids with daddy's cash. Flashy dealers in luxury fits moving flour that smelled like detergent and hit like regrets. Bud stood on the rooftop of a half-dead building across from the strip, hood up, joint lit, Mary Jane by his side. She wore all black, combat boots, trench coat, matte lipstick. Her Glock rested just under her thigh holster, like it was waiting for the right name to say. "They still packin' lines," she said, eyes cold on the block below, "selling them candy terp popsicles like it's something real." Bud exhaled smoke. It curled heavy into the mist. "It's sugar, not smoke. These fools buyin' flavor, not fire." He flicked the roach over the edge and pulled a fresh pre-roll from his sleeve, lit it from a Zippo engraved with a weed leaf and a crown. "We flipped Keefe Hill, collapsed Loud's main lab, choked his distro line, and still this street breathin'." Mary Jane shifted her weight. "Then it's time we stop suffocating them and start poisoning the lungs." Bud nodded slow. "We don't burn Zaza Lane, we infect it." She smiled. Not the sweet kind, the kind of smile that said somebody's about to beg. Back at the grow hole, the crew huddled in a war circle. Bud, Mary Jane, Bino, and 2 of the goonettes. The lights buzzed over walls lined with mother plants and hydro tanks. Bud paced in front of the chalkboard covered in strain names and drop dates. "This the move," Bud said, pointing at the top corner. "We engineer a new strain, flashy as fuck, loud on the nose, stupid bag, dumbass name, something that'll slide straight into Zaza Lane like it belonged there." Mary Jane added, "But what's inside?" "Pure truth. Old school grow, no cut corners, THC so thick it'll make a fake smoker throw up." Bino rubbed his jaw. "You trying to catfish the whole North?" Bud smirked. "Nah, I'm trying to baptize 'em." He pulled a sealed jar from the fridge. Inside, a dense nug glistened like emerald soaked in wine. "This right here, this the blueprint. It ain't ready yet, but when it is, we gon' package it under the dumbest strain name we can find. Something real fake. I'm talking like Banana Jelly Diesel Burst." Everyone laughed. Mary Jane said, "Throw some holographic foil on it, and the whole block gon' sell they soul." Bud nodded. "Exactly, and once they smoke it, they'll never trust fake Loud again." "Name?" Bino asked. Bud lit up. "Quit a hologram." The room fell quiet. Then Bino chuckled. "That shit sound like a strain that kill your ego." Bud grinned. "It don't kill it. It shows you what it looked like before you lied to yourself." Mary Jane leaned back. "Let's infect the city." The lab smelled like pine, diesel, and rebellion. Bud didn't just grow weed, he orchestrated it. Every plant in the grow hole had a name, a background, and a purpose. Some were for creativity, some were for silence, some were for war. This new one, Quit a Hologram? That was for conversion. They got to work quick. Mary Jane headed up bag design with a goonette named Lace, who used to run counterfeit print shops for Philly scams. Within 48 hours, they had 500 holographic foil bags with trippy eyes, glittery cartoon brains, and a fake-ass slogan, "Let your mind melt." It looked like every overpriced gas knockoff Zaza Lane loved. Inside each bag, though, carefully cured, indoor-grown organic death, 35% THC, no terp boost, no chemicals, just Bud's pure harvest from his secret soil blend, composted cocoa shell, goat dung, crushed lava rock, They called it truth soil. Mary Jane said it best. Shit hit like your grandma catching you lying. Make your whole body feel shame. Distribution started on a Wednesday. No announcements, no drops. Just a quiet flood. Fake accounts popped up on Weedergram showing off the bag. Staged videos of fools coughing out lungs. Stories of a strain so strong, one dealer cried and called his mama. By Friday, Zaza Lane was buzzing about quit a hologram like it was sent from space. Bud never showed his face. He let the city catch the virus, let the smoke speak. But Loudpack? He wasn't laughing. He'd just dropped a collab strain with a washed rapper from LA, Bubble Ice Rage, and it flopped like a blunt in a rainstorm. His sales dropped 30% in 3 days. Customers complained about taste, about paranoia, about midnight, and worst of all, they asked for Quit a Hologram by name. Loud stormed into his Zaza Lane dispensary with a gold AK over his shoulder and hate in his chest. Knocked over a bud tender and cursed out a customer who said Bud's gas taste cleaner. "This ain't fucking Trader Joe's, bitch," he yelled. "This war." He turned to his lieutenant, a tall, oily-skinned dude named Briscoe. "Find the source. Track this shit. I want names, faces, and somebody's tongue cut out." Briscoe nodded, tight-lipped. They moved quick, paid off corner boys, hacked into shipment data, followed GPS drops, and by Sunday morning, they had an address. A trap house in the East Block selling Quit a Hologram by the elbow. They raided it with no warning, 3 cars deep, guns out, face masks on. Only problem? The house was empty, no weed, no workers. Just a message spray painted across the back wall in neon green. You got sold. Now you get smoked. Bud stood in the back of a van with the side doors wide open, arms folded, eyes locked on a TV screen playing the live footage of the Zaza trap raid. His inside man, Lace's cousin with a drone license and no morals, hovered above the chaos. He watched Loudpack storm through the house, flanked by Briscoe and 2 shooters with bandanas and bad aim. The message on the back wall made Loud freeze like his soul got touched. Bud exhaled slow. The smoke coiled like warning signs from a god. "That message gon' stick," Bino said, passing him a fresh wood. Mary Jane cracked her knuckles. "It's startin'." He feelin' that heat, that desperation, that paranoia. Bud lit the blunt, inhaled, held it, eyes never left the screen. "Paranoia's good, makes fools sloppy." He turned to the crew. "Next move ain't more fire, it's silence. We shut down. Let the smoke marinate." Mary Jane raised a brow. "No retaliation?" "Not yet," Bud said. "Loud already fightin' ghosts. Let's make him question if he even breathin' real air." The plan was subtle psychological warfare. They didn't post, didn't sell, didn't show face. Every Growhole account went dark. Dispensary deliveries paused. Even the corner boys took a break. But the hype didn't stop. More rumors started. Bud got raided. Mary Jane caught a body in the back burner district. Bud flew to Jamaica to bless the herb gods. None of it was true, and all of it fed the flame. Meanwhile, Loud's crew got paranoid. His shooters stopped sleeping right, started seeing shadows on rooftops. Briscoe caught his girl snorting Adderall and swearing the weed talking to her. One night, Loud got so spooked, he shot his own mirror. The next morning, Bud resurfaced, smooth and deadly. He and Mary Jane pulled up in a matte green muscle car wrapped in smoke graphics, parked at dead center of Zaza Lane, and stepped out slow. Mary Jane had a blunt tucked in her hair like a switchblade. Bud had a backpack full of Quitta jars. No armor, no crew, just presence. People froze. Some dipped, some pulled phones. Bud didn't say a word. He placed a single jar of Quitta hologram on the hood of the car and nodded to the nearest vendor. "You want the real? Try this," he said, voice calm like thunder in the distance. Then he and Mary Jane drove off. By nightfall, Zaza Lane was a riot. Fights broke out over the jar. One dude offered 3 racks for a single eighth. 2 girls laced a rival trap boy's cart with ketamine just to stall him from getting it, and every other dealer up and down the strip started sweating. Loud watched from inside his tinted office window, jaw tight, fist clenched around his chain. Briscoe entered. "We got a hit on his distribution. Warehouse off Nugget Boulevard, south side. Could be nothing, could be the lab." Loud tossed his gold AK on the couch. "Let's turn that could be into a fucking funeral." At 2:37 a.m., 5 cars deep, Loud's squad hit Nugget Boulevard with silencers and duct tape. The warehouse wasn't guarded. The front was unlocked. They entered in formation. Black hoodies, gloves, no sound. What they found wasn't product. It was traps. As soon as the last man stepped in, the door slammed shut behind them. Motion sensors triggered a chain reaction. Tripwires, gas valves, and a wall of UV lights ignited the entire interior in green flame. Fluorescent fire consumed everything, and inside the burning inferno, written in weed ash across the floor, was one word: cloned. It was never the real lab. Bud and Mary Jane watched the flames from 3 rooftops away. Mary Jane smirked. "That's what happened when you chase ghosts in greenhouses." Bud passed her a joint. "Now he knows we ain't just growing gas. We cultivating war." She took a hit. Loud about to crumble like a bad cookie. Down on the street, sirens began to cry. The fire painted the sky neon. Bud looked at it and said quietly, "Zaza Lane gon' smell like truth for weeks." Loud Pack didn't sleep that night, didn't smoke, didn't blink. He sat in his penthouse, floor-to-ceiling glass overlooking North Highgardens, watching the glow from the warehouse blaze flicker like it was calling him out by name. His phone buzzed non-stop, distributors pulling out, customers refunding pre-orders, Instagram comments flooding his page with clown emojis and hashtag #Quitta over everything. Loud Pack felt his empire shift, like someone had rolled a fat blunt, licked it clean, and burned the wrong end. "You know what this is?" he muttered to Briscoe, pacing shirtless with a pistol tucked into his sweats. "It's a slow bleed," Briscoe replied. "Nah," Loud said, eyes bloodshot with rage. "This a fucking public execution. He killing me one street at a time." "What you want done?" Loud slammed a mason jar to the ground. Weed scattered like green confetti. "No more messages, no more spray paint. We gon' return to what the streets respect." Briscoe nodded slow. "Bodies." Loud grinned. "Exactly. Start with the ones close to him." That same night, 2 of Bud's known runners, young cats named Cavi and Torch, got snatched outside a bodega in the Rolling Leaf district. They never made it home. By dawn, their bodies were found hanging upside down from a billboard off Dankworth Avenue. Throats slit. Skin branded with the Zaza Lane logo burned into their chests. A pack of fake Quitta bags rained down from the billboard as the wind blew. On each bag, "Flavor over fire." Bud got the news from Lace over burner line. Her voice shook. "He's sending a message." Bud's jaw tightened, but his voice stayed calm. "Then it's time we send one louder." He lit the fattest blunt in the grow hole. Took a drag. Let the silence ride. Then he called in the whole squad, Mary Jane, Bino, Lace, even Old Man Strain, a former grow god who hadn't stepped foot in a war room since 2003. Bud stood at the head of the table, green light glowing off his gold blunt ring. He pulled out a small Ziploc and tossed it on the table. Inside, a seed, but not just any seed. The seed. This ain't for sale," Bud said. "This ain't for clout. This right here is war currency." Mary Jane leaned in, recognizing the markings on the shell. "You grew this from the Deeproot batch?" Bud nodded. "Crossed it with Ghost Train haze and that old-school skunk #1 strain from my uncle's freezer," Bino whistled. "That's some god-level gas." Bud smirked. "I call it Widowmaker Kush. First grow's already cured, but we gon' do more than sell it." He pulled out a burner tablet and tapped it. A blueprint popped up on the screen. Schematics for a pop-up dispensary truck with armored siding and smoke vents. It looked like a weed tank crossed with a taco stand. Mary Jane grinned. A weed war wagon? Damn right, Bud said. We load it with Widowmaker. Drive it right into the heart of Zaza Lane. Offer it for free. No sales. Just hand-to-hand blessings. Lace blinked. For free? Bud looked her dead in the eyes. You don't tax a resurrection. That Friday, the Widowmaker wagon rolled onto Zaza Lane in broad daylight, wrapped in graffiti-style smoke art, side vents hissing like a dragon, speakers bumping Old Bone Thugs. A glowing LED sign read, Truth Never Taxed. Bud and Mary Jane stood behind the glass, masks on, jars in hand. They passed eighths to everybody, dealers, tourists, street rats, even Loud's own security boys. Nobody stopped them, because nobody dared. Loud Pack watched from a rooftop, trembling with a scoped rifle in hand. Briscoe stood behind him. You want to take the shot? Briscoe asked. Loud raised the scope, lined up Bud's head, then paused. Why you shakin'? Briscoe muttered. Loud lowered the rifle. This ain't business no more. This spiritual. Briscoe scoffed. Nigga, it's dope. It's weed. No, Loud whispered. It's prophecy. That night, Widowmaker Kush burned through the whole city. Social media lost its mind. Rappers posted sobbing selfies. White girls filmed my first real high confessionals. Hood elders called it biblical. And Loud disappeared. No word, no post, no retaliation. His empire started crumbling like bad paper in the rain. Loud Pack hid out in a motel off Lacedown Road, beard grown out, paranoia in full bloom. He'd shaved his dreads, tossed his designer shit, and moved like a man waiting on judgment. He smoked his own product now, shit he used to call work weed, stuff he never touched when he was king. The streets had gone quiet. Not peaceful quiet. Funeral quiet. Rumors spread he left town. That Bud banished him. That Mary Jane poisoned his last harvest. None of it mattered, because Bud owned the city now. From the pre-roll district to the Hash Heights to the fog-bound overpass, his stamp was on every eighth, every cart, every resin drip. Widowmaker Kush had flipped the script, turned users to prophets and hustlers to believers. People started saying Bud wasn't just a grower, he was a cultivator of the soul. And Mary Jane? She became a myth. There were videos of her lighting joints with flamethrowers, stories of her dropping bodies with a blunt and a blade. One dude swore she lit her wood on a dude's cremated ashes. She didn't correct nobody. She just kept moving, eyes low, heart hot. The war wasn't over, because empires don't die with whispers. They die with echoes. And just when Bud thought he'd silenced the noise, a package arrived at the grow hole. No return address. Wrapped in black foil. Inside, a single nug, dry, dusty, but wrapped in red thread. Tied to it, a handwritten note. You grew yours, now smoke mine, ghost of ganja. Mary Jane raised a brow. What the fuck is this? Bud studied the nug, sniffed it, his eyes widened. This ain't from here. Out-of-town plug? He shook his head. Nah, this from the original fields, old soil, OG roots, before hybrids, before hype. Then who the hell got it? Bud looked up, face suddenly shadowed. A bigger grower. She stared. Impossible. He looked back down at the nug, twisting it slowly between his fingers. Not impossible, he muttered. Just unfinished business. Outside, thunder rolled through Highgardens. The sky lit green, and the wind carried the scent of war again.